Hey guys, it's Sarah from Sleepopolis, and today we're taking a look at the Snooz, which is a white noise machine ideal for folks who love to fall asleep to the sounds of a whirring fan. But how does it work and what kind of features does it have to offer? Well, stay tuned because we're about to take a very close look at it. Alright, so before we start anything, I just want to say if throughout the course of this video any questions come up or you want a personal recommendation from me, please don't hesitate to give me a shout in the comment section below and I'd be happy to help. Alright, now before we talk about exactly how the Snooz works, let's just take a look at everything it comes with. So first of all, they do give you this complimentary little sleep mask, which I think is a nice perk. And then you've got the user's guide here, which basically lets you know exactly how to set everything up, all the features that it has, and also goes into detail about how to set up the Snooz app on your phone, which we'll talk more about later. But what I love is that setup couldn't be simpler, and I love that it's a small, sleek design. So basically it's your Snooz, your charger, you plug it in, and then the face of it here is pretty self-explanatory, and I like that it's quite obvious. You've got the power button in the middle, which obviously turns it on and off. One squiggly line, which means volume lower, and then three squiggly lines, which means volume up. So like I said, for those of us who are a little intimidated by tech in the bedroom, take comfort in the fact that this setup and design is very straightforward. All right, so now that we know what we're working with, let's take a look at how everything works. All right, so like I said, the Snooz is ideal for folks who love to fall asleep to the whirring sound of a fan. But what I think is very cool about the Snooz is that it doesn't just play a track that sounds like a fan, it's actually got a real fan inside of it. So it's really giving you that authentic, super calming fan noise, which I have to say is one of my favorite sounds to fall asleep to. And something else I like about it is that it just goes and goes and goes for as long as you want it to. So there's no one track that loops or stops. There's no point that the fan stops making noise, which for some of us light sleepers might actually cause you to wake up. So I really like that the fan pretty much just whirs for as long as you want it to. Now, something else that's really cool about the Snooz is that you can actually, well, first of all, of course, adjust the volume, and I'm very surprised by how loud it actually gets. So for those of you who sleep with people who snore loudly, or for those of you who have a lot of outside noise, noisy neighbors, whatever the case may be, take comfort in the fact that you can really get the Snooz to whir very loudly. But conversely, if you prefer more of a light sort of hum, it can get pretty soft too. Another cool feature is that you can actually adjust the tone of the whirring sound. So by basically gripping the fabric covered outside of the Snooz and rotating it clockwise or counterclockwise, you'll notice that the tone gets higher or lower, and feel free to just sort of experiment with that and see what is sort of the most calming to you. Okay, so now let's talk about the app. First, I want to say you don't need to download the Snooz app in order to enjoy the Snooz. But I will suggest that you do because there are a few extra features that you can access with the app that you can't access without it. For example, one of my favorite features that the app has to offer is you can set a weekly schedule and timer. So for example, if you say you crawl into bed every night at around 11 p.m. Monday through Friday, you can set that for your bedtime and the Snooz will know to start at 11 p.m. You can also set a timer for when you want it to shut off. So say you don't like to listen to white noise all night long, you can have it start at 11 p.m. and stop at 6 a.m. or whatever you prefer. So in that way, the Snooz really does allow you to sort of customize it and personalize it to your own preferences. And of course, on the app, you can also adjust the volume and turn it off and on so that you can hold it basically and adjust it from your bed and not have to get up and walk across the room if your Snooz is far away. So obviously that makes it more convenient. But perhaps one of the most interesting features that the app offers is something called nursery calibration. So basically, if you're intending to put a Snooz in a nursery where your baby is sleeping, it's important to note that there are certain volumes and frequencies that are harmful to babies' ears. Basically what you do is you open the nursery calibration app on your phone and put the phone where your baby will be sleeping. Then put the Snooz wherever you want to put the Snooz in the nursery. Then on your app, adjust the volume and it'll show you in decibels what an acceptable volume and tone is and what is going to be harmful. So if you're ever worried about, oh no, is this going to be a little too loud? It's got that all figured out and it'll show you what a good volume and tone is for your baby. All right, so now let's recap the highlights of the Snooz so you can get a better sense about whether or not it's the right fit for you. So first of all, if you are someone who loves to drift off into dreamland to the sound of a whirring fan, this is probably the white noise machine for you. Like I said, I am definitely one of those people who just finds the noise of a sort of static fan to be very peaceful, very calming, and so this is definitely the kind of white noise machine that I would use. And keep in mind that you can easily adjust both the tone and the volume of the sound of the whirring fan so that you can get it just right. Another thing I really appreciate is that it's super easy to set up, and by easy I mean like 30 seconds. All you do is put it where you want it, plug it in, and turn it on. And like I said, for those of us who are a little wary about tech in the bedroom because of complicated setup, again, take comfort in the fact that it couldn't be simpler to set the snooze up. I also love the features that come with the app. So first of all, the convenience factor of being able to just adjust the volume while you're lying in bed rather than having to get up and go do it manually, but also the fact that you can set your own schedule so that it really knows when your bedtime is, when to turn on, when to turn off. It really just brings this level of personalized care that I appreciate. And of course, those of you who have babies and want to put the snooze in a nursery are going to be most compatible with the nursery calibration app. So if you're someone who's been toying with the idea of putting a white noise machine in your nursery, but you're just not sure how it's going to affect your baby's ears, the people at Snooz thought of that, and they literally let you look at the decibels and let you know what's safe and what's not. Another thing I think is pretty useful and clever about this design is that the fan is engineered to make noise, not move air like a regular fan. So first of all, it's not blowing air at you. It's not going to make you feel chilly or anything. You don't feel it at all. And what's even better is that because there is no inflow and outflow, it's much less likely to draw in any pet dander or dust, and therefore it never needs to be opened or cleaned like a regular fan would. And lastly, the Snooz comes with free shipping, a very generous 100-day return policy, and a 1-year warranty. All right, a few things to consider about the Snooz before you make your purchase. So first of all, like I said, you don't need the app to enjoy the Snooz, but there are a few things that are only accessed via the app. So first of all, nursery calibration. You can only access through the app. Same thing with setting a schedule and a timer. So if these things are important to you, and in my opinion, they're definitely some of the perks that come with the Snooz, you definitely want to download the app. Another thing to consider is that while you can adjust the volume from your phone, you cannot adjust the tone. The tone can only be adjusted by holding the top of the Snooz and rotating the fabric-covered shell. Now, additionally, while I love the sound of a fan, it's important to note that this is the only sound that it makes. So there are no rainforest tracks or ocean waves or anything like that. So if you love the sound of a whirring fan, this might be the white noise machine for you. But if you're looking for a more diverse range of tracks or peaceful music to fall asleep to, this isn't it. And the last thing to consider, of course, is price. So at about $80, this isn't going to be in everyone's price range. In my opinion, it's a great value for what you get. I've thoroughly enjoyed testing the Snooz, but just keep in mind that it is $80. It does come with free shipping and a generous return policy of 100 days. Now, before I wrap up my review, I just want to address a few questions that I often get about the Snooz. First of all, is white noise harmful for babies? Well, like I said, yes, it can be if it's not at the right volume and frequency. It's also important to note that you should keep a white noise machine about 7 feet at least from your baby's crib. Now that said, that's why I really like that the Snooz app comes with the nursery calibration, which will essentially let you know what volume and frequency is safe and what's not. Now, another frequently asked question is, what's the difference between pink noise and white noise? Well, the color of noise refers to the frequency, and white is the highest, brown noise is the lowest, and pink noise is right in the middle. Now, a lot comes down to personal preference. For me, white noise is my favorite. I find it to be the most calming, but keep in mind that white noise is going to sound, again, higher pitched, a little bit more like TV static, and pink noise is a little bit deeper, a little bit softer, and sort of closer to rainfall. So again, sort of take some time to experiment and find out which one is the most soothing to you. Now, on that note, a lot of folks want to know which color noise is the best for sleep. And at the end of the day, that all comes down to personal preference. So I encourage you to experiment with white noise, pink noise, and brown noise, keeping in mind that white is the highest frequency and most closely mimics TV static. Pink is a little softer and more subtle like rainfall, and then brown is deeper and richer, more like crashing waves. Well, that's it from me, but for every last detail on the Snooz, be sure to check out my full written review by going to Sleepopolis.com, type in Snooz, it'll be the first thing that pops up, and I dive into much deeper detail. And while you're there, if you want to know more about the different color noises or more about white noise in general, just type in white noise, pink noise, or brown noise, and you'll see a whole bunch of research pop up. Now, I do hope you found this review to be helpful, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media. We're always uploading more content with an aim to get you some better sleep. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.